Hello. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. It's been a bit of a chaotic morning. Um, so I've been trying to just, I do a practice every morning slash early afternoon, but because things were a little bit off for me today, um, it took me a little bit longer to get going. Let's just say that, okay? Let's just say that. Took me a bit longer to get going, and I'm doing my best to stay centered during all the transitions and stuff that are taking place. So I hope you're all doing well during this time. Let's see, I'm just trying to look up something here. Yeah, okay. All right. So, hi Shayna. I hope you're doing all right. Uh yeah, you probably heard everything I was saying, but yeah, it's like, when you're going through really good transitions, but you're having a hard time processing the good ones because they're so intense and overwhelming at times. That's basically what I've been going through. It's like this necessity to release that which you have known for something better, but that takes vulnerability, it takes courage, it takes trust. These are all very difficult things to have sometimes, you know. And, even after a few years of having to go through cycles of this, where you've had to release um, any concern or worry and trust, it really doesn't get better just overnight. Like, it doesn't always get easier overnight. It takes a while for you to get used to that process sometimes. I guess depending on the person, depending on what you came in with. But today, if you're here, say hello. I want to know who's watching. If you're comfortable, you don't have to. But before I get started today, I want to let you all know some things that I'm doing. So, next week, I'm going to be having an online event, and I had it I think it was 2 weeks ago. Well, by the time the event starts, it's going to be almost 2 weeks ago. Right now, it's a little over a week ago. But I have an event coming called the Sacred Journeys event. Last time I did it, it was just a very open event. So it's basically a meditative journey where we allow spirit to carry us where we need to go. Hi, Mackenzie. Thank you for joining us today. Um, Sacred Journeys, we're basically allowing spirit to take us where we need to go at any period in time. Um, so that was the premise of the first one that I did. But this one is going to be more specific. The Sacred Journeys for next week, we're going to be traveling to Orion. And I specifically received, my hair's in my eye, I specifically received that location. Hi, Rob. I didn't expect you to be here. What a nice surprise. Hi, Akasha. Hi. Um, yeah, so next week we're going to be going to Orion. I received this as a flash of insight last week, and I was like, "Oh boy, that's interesting." So, that's what I decided to do for this the next Sacred Journeys event is to travel to Orion and see. And it feels really important, actually. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I have mentioned Orion before and its importance in the coming time. I think the first time I made a video about Orion was in like 2018. And I do feel that it's going to have increasing importance with our Earth's evolution in the coming times to come. So I don't know exactly the details of what we're going to be receiving going forward. Um, but I'm really curious to see because I've had many interactions with, I guess you could say, well intentioned Orion beings, and it has been really just like, wow, they have some really crazy, intense energy. So I'm really looking forward to that, to seeing what that brings us. So I have that coming next week, but some of the things I'm planning, but I don't necessarily want to elaborate on too much because I kind of want it to be a surprise. But I have a few projects that I'm working on. Um, a few projects that came to me again as a flash of insight, something that I want to offer you all. Um, and I want to make clear as well that my heart has been guided to more group work or small level kind of like community work when it comes to my transmissions. I'm still going to be offering individual work, but my heart feels to be guided towards group work. So I feel like this will make things more accessible. It'll make things easier for people to join in, because the price generally is lower if you're doing like a group session. So it's going to be more easy to access for a lot of people. Where the individual work is obviously it's more expensive. If that's what you need, that's great. But it's just, I feel that the group work right now is really important. Last thing I feel like I want to say is when it comes to my website, you'll probably notice next week that there's going to be some changes. And this is just mainly because this has a lot to do with the platform that I'm using. To be honest, it's just getting too expensive. I can't do it anymore. It's getting too expensive, and I'm just like, yo, it's not worth it for me to be paying this much money for this platform. So I'm going to be switching platforms, which means that the site is probably going to be more seamless, more simple. I really do like the creative freedom of the platform that I'm using now, but I can't do it anymore. So I'm willing to take the sacrifice and to have a more simple site, and have something that's a little bit more reasonable for me financially. So just know that if you see things look different on my site next week, that's why. Okay, so it's gonna take me some time to transfer all the stuff from the site that I'm using now into this one. So now, this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. If you see my website is down for a few days, just know that's why, because I'm working on the transition process. So if you want to reach out to me for a session or you're curious about events, um, just reach out to me directly, either through email, through Facebook, through Instagram, through my YouTube channel. Like, just reach out to me directly, okay? Because I don't know. I'm going with the flow. So I don't know what's going to happen. That has been the theme of my life recently, is going with the flow and trusting. And as pretty as that sounds, it's not the easiest thing for me to do. It really isn't. It's getting easier, but it's still hard sometimes. Um, Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later, on a more personal level, why that's been difficult for me. Oh, thanks, Rob. Hi, Kalina. Tell her I said hi. Tell her I said hi. Hopefully, we can catch up soon and just talk about all the things that have been happening, because I know for both of us it's been a whirlwind of activity. Oh boy. Okay, so anyway, I want to get into the theme for today's goddess stream. Uh, so with this goddess stream, it's interesting. Anytime I make the poster for the goddess stream, I'm always tapping into the energy that's coming in. So the first time was more Hathor's. That's the picture that I used. The thing with the second one, it it was, well, technically I wanted to use Goddess Kuan Yin, but I changed my mind last minute, so I didn't use her picture. But her energy, more so the Asian goddesses were more associated, whether South Asian or with Kuan Yin. So that was the theme for that one. For this one, I felt it's a mixture this week. I actually feel the energy of Goddess Brigid coming in, or I think technically her name is pronounced Breed, but I'll say Bridget so people know what I'm talking about. Bridget. So I feel her energy coming in this week, and it feels so fiery and passionate and creative. Her energy, I also sense Goddess Saraswati coming in, she was actually on the poster last time. Saraswati feels to be coming in today. to be working with us. Now, typically, she is associated with knowledge, but she can also be associated with the arts. So it's it should be interesting to see what energies come in. That's why I have my orange shirt on, because I really do feel that they're going to be working with us with our passion, our creativity, our power, our sense of purpose, and the intention that we're directing and what we're putting out there into the world that is associated with what we truly want, as opposed to what we think we're supposed to do and what we think is our overall, I guess, responsibility. It's more so about what is right for us and what feels good for our hearts to do, or not do. Sometimes you don't have to do. Sometimes you just be and let everything else flow. Um, so yeah. So I'm going to get started with us. I'm excited. I'm excited. Rob, I'm glad to hear things are calming down. That's good to hear because I know things have been really crazy. Um, okay. Dre FNR. I don't know how it would be pronounced. So you're welcome. Thank you for the rose. All right, so I'm going to get us started. I've talked long enough. I just wanted to get you all caught up. But all right, so what I'm going to ask everyone to do is get in a space where preferably you won't be interrupted, but I understand how things are. So get into a calm and relaxed space. If this is your first time, this is what we do. We get into a space of calm, of relaxation, and of receptivity. And I allow the goddess to guide us through this process. So I don't know what's going to happen. I just allow her to guide us. All right, so for now, just focus on your breath. Breathing in through the nose. You can do to the count of 3. And exhaling out through the mouth. Inhaling again through the nose. And out. Allowing yourself to release any stress, any worry, any concern, letting that out with the exhale. All right, one more time in through the nose. If you like, you can focus on the third eye here for a moment, hold it, and then exhaling out through the mouth. Now just take a few seconds to just watch your breath. You don't have to manipulate it. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. Just allow it to be. Just watch it for a moment. And just feel yourself be very present with your body in this moment. I'm laughing because I feel like they're kind of nudging me to move on. All right. So just bringing your awareness to your body. And now what the goddess wants us to bring our focus to is the head area. So where the third eye is. So bring your awareness into the third eye, the forehead. And you may feel this energy wrap around the entire skull. So all around the front of the forehead, the sides, and the back, primarily. And what they mention is that within this area is an expansion of energy that is taking place. So what this is allowing for is for you to receive insight, inspiration, and information in an expanded way. that allows for inspiration to take place in a way that's graceful, that is receptive, where there's little to no effort required on your part. And they say that this is very important for creativity. It's very important for any type of creative art, is to allow yourself to be inspired, to allow yourself to gracefully kind of end up in these spaces of creativity, as opposed to trying to think of what to create or trying to rationalize what needs to be created in this moment. Allow your creative force to guide you into what needs to be brought into being. So, whatever needs to be brought into being, that is what will guide you forward. And from there, you allow your intuition to let you know what you need to do, as opposed to trying to control the creation. So, this is a very important aspect of creativity, they're saying. So we have now, this is the goddess stream, but we do have someone else that is showing up that wants to make their presence known. And this is actually Horus. Okay. Especially around this third eye area, since we're focusing on this, he tends to be associated with the third eye. So Horus feels to want to make an appearance, and this is to support clarity of vision for everyone. So you can clearly see. So this is a cultivation or focus on clairvoyance at this point. And Horus wants everyone to trust what it is that they're seeing, trust what it is they're visualizing also, that comes from the heart. And to allow yourself space and room to create within this headspace. Now, letting it be known, however, that again, this cannot come from a place of force. It almost has to be like daydreaming. And with daydreaming, if you've paid attention when you've been experiencing it, it's not something that you have to force yourself into. It's just something that happens. So if you have a heart's desire or you have something that you want to bring into existence physically, allow yourself to just go into a light trance and daydream about it. This is how you must visualize. So it must be a very calming process. Anything other than that will restrict the manifestation of your desire. So now this is interesting because there's a focus on creativity in terms of arts, and whether it be for some people could be drawing, painting, singing, songwriting, whatever it might be for each person. But they're also talking about creativity in terms of manifestation. And so they're wanting to bring our attention to the process of manifestation and how important it is for us to visualize from a graceful space, from a peaceful space. We have some, so we have Horus within the third eye here that is helping us to have clear vision. But we also have a set of magical beings that are joining us within the third eye area as well. So this feels to be, let's say, like Merlin. It's like that kind of energy. So they say now is the time for you to be the master of your creation, as opposed to being a victim of your circumstance. Allow yourself the freedom to choose leadership over your life. And I know at times this is hard. It can be a little tricky to bring yourself to that point. But this is what they want to help us with today, is to reclaim ownership over our lives. And to begin creating from a space which is of higher expectation of what we can have, as opposed to what we think we might have to settle with, as opposed to, the cards we've been dealt or what we think we have to deal with. Now, there's always going to be things that are beyond our control. We can only control how we react or how we respond, as well as what we're creating with our own vision for ourselves. But people will always have an influence. But when it comes to what we want to experience, this is what they want to help us to have more ownership over. So the focus of this energy feels to be moving not just in the front of the third eye, but we're moving into the middle of the skull where the pineal gland would be. The energy has actually been there for a bit, but I'm mentioning it now. So we're moving into the middle of the skull. And I feel the attention is being brought to the kind of like vacancy within this area, or the space within the skull. So I'm going to allow the energy to rest here for a moment. It feels as though they are they are guiding us through what feels to be a recalibration or an influx of energy that's entering this area. So as this is happening, just be aware of what's going on, what's unfolding. Try not to really focus on it too harshly. Just acknowledge it. And continue to breathe as well, as we can forget to breathe sometimes. So, what is occurring as this influx of energy is coming into the cranium? We are also receiving transmissions through the crown. And this may appear like a cone of light that's funneling through the top of the head. And you may feel the top of your head open up. And you may feel this energy continue to flow down through the head and into the neck, the shoulders, and the heart. The belly area, down into the legs and the feet. Um, Now, as this energy enters and flows down through the body, you may also feel an activation of the root energy also, so your root chakra. And this is to help bring the energy from the bottom up. So this may feel like, I'll just say this, may feel as though your reproductive area is being stimulated, but that's normal. That's a part of that Kundalini energy being stimulated. So just observe it same way. What this will help with is to help you to be a clear vessel for any information that's coming through the creative field. And this will help you to be more in the flow in your daily life, allowing you to be in a state or a space of grace. I'm seeing just the overall energy of Venus helping us with this process. What I'm seeing is that this clear flow of energy through the center channel will also assist in the transmission of insight and messages from your loved ones, actually, those that have passed, those that have crossed the veil onto the other side. So it'll help you to be able to receive messages and support from them more clearly. So some of you may notice either now or in the recent past that your ancestors have been helping you more. So they've been helping you in the sense of either trying to guide you through your intuition, linking you up with people that are going to be good connections for you, nudging you in the right direction. So you may feel their presence more. You may start to notice that they send you more signs in your environment. But they are with you. They're just coming through in different ways for different people, but they're here. It's interesting. At this point, I'm not sensing specific people that are here, but I do feel that your ancestors are here with you now, in this transmission right now. and they're joining you through this transmission. I do feel a particular emphasis on male ancestors, though. I will say that. I do feel a kind of male energy coming through for some people. So this could be like a father figure, a grandfather, but I do sense a lot of masculine support. What I get the sense of as well with our ancestors or our loved ones that have passed onto the other side, um, is that they're assisting with any any issues that are karmic in nature. So they're helping you to release any kind of attachments that have followed you lifetime after lifetime, so you can untie those knots and be free. For some of you, this does relate to finances. Some of you, it relates to finances, money, could be home life, but it feels like very mundane matters. It's situations where you're used to struggling, you're used to having a hard time, but they want to help you to have peace in your life now and to rid you of that paradigm that encourages struggle. So they're going to be helping you. I see a lot of green coming in with them. So helping you to release any issues within your finances so you can pay off your debts, so you can start cultivating more abundance in your life. They say that this issue has been a long-standing issue. So this is something that has gone through not just with you, but generations within this current lifetime. This goes back generations, this issue, for some of you. Yeah. So what they want to help with is creating more stability, creating more, I don't want to say structure, but it just feels like where you feel a strong foundation in your life, as opposed to feeling like things are just kind of all over the place. You don't feel supported, and you may have felt like that for a while, like you're not supported, or it feels like you just can't get things to be grounded, where there's just a lot of ups and downs, but they're really going to be helping some of you to regain your stability and to regain your foundation. So they're really going to be helping you with this. This feels really important. Um, and this also feels like, for some of you, building a family, building a legacy. For some of you, that feels important. So for some of you, it might be like buying a home. Um, it might be just, I don't know, it could be getting married, having a family. I know that's not necessarily a thing for everyone, but for some people, it is something that they want, having children. So they're going to be helping you. If this is something that you desire, they're going to be helping you with that. They do bring me to this energy of healing the bloodline. So at this time, you can just affirm within your heart, or you can affirm out loud that you accept help from them. So that you can finally Be free of the mental struggle paradigm. You know, they say it's no longer necessary. You don't have to continue to do that. You're evolving, the earth is evolving as well, and it's time to be rid of these kinds of paradigms and beliefs. I like this. It's generational healing. And they say you have more support than you think. You have more support than you think. So allow yourself to be supported. And it's okay to be supported. I know a lot of us have this idea of independence. Independence has become something that we all have kind of uplifted in our society, but it can be a very damaging mindset if we don't know how to accept help. Interdependence is very important. It's very important for us to come into that understanding right now that we need each other. It's not just about being by ourselves and doing everything by ourselves. We need to be supported and we need to support others. And this is not, I just want to clarify, this is not the same as being overly reliant. It's knowing when you need to ask for help. And that's it. So at this time, all of our team of light members, our ancestors, are helping us to ground. And they're helping us. I'm sorry about any noise. I can't help it. But they're helping us to ground. They're helping us to stabilize. And they're helping us to come to a sense of peace. What I see as well, again, I really do feel a healing of the masculine aspect. Because I see the energy of Osiris coming up. And when I see Osiris as a representative of the masculine energy, of like the divine masculine. So what's taking place at this time is father healing. Even though this is the goddess stream, there is father healing that is taking place. And what I feel this entails is the healing of a sense of feeling like you have a high expectation to meet. Sometimes this perspective can cause unnecessary stress, unnecessary grief, and damage to our emotional well-being and our physical well-being. Because when there's a high expectation of what we feel we must do, and we're not tuning into our hearts and seeing what's actually serving, we end up becoming cold, rigid, and treating ourselves as a machine as opposed to treating ourselves like a person. So there's nothing wrong with being in a space of action and doing and taking steps to bring our goals into physicality, into being, but it must be well intentioned. And this is what has been missing from our society for a very long time, is that it's just mindless action, but there's no true mindfulness or heart-centeredness with that action. So this is what I feel is being healed. When we move into our hearts and we move from a place of mindfulness and intention, we move out of the space of high expectation, because typically that expectation is not even ours. It's other people's expectations, it's society's expectations. So this is what I feel they're trying to heal now. And you may feel a shift within the heart space as this is happening. So you may feel the energy shift from, let's say, left to right or right to left. You may feel the energy move within this space. All right, wonderful. So we have a lot of masculine energy today. I'm really surprised. But I feel Saint Germain coming in to help us in releasing all of this now. So now I do this movement with my hands when I'm working with the energy of moving stuff out of the subtle bodies. So releasing. Saint Germain is helping us with untying karmic knots, releasing that karma. Right, breathing. You may feel this as a kind of pulling, the energy pulling out from different parts of your body. So just continue to breathe and let that happen. You may feel like shaking. Sometimes shaking helps the energy to move out. So if you feel guided to shake, then you can do that. And when you're breathing, you can bring the, how can I say this? When you breathe, tighten the throat a little bit so that the breath makes an audible noise. This helps to focus the energy. Just letting it go. Stress, worry, concern over our well-being, over our sense of safety, and letting that stress and worry go, clearing it out. Letting it go. So we can be free and to let the sun shine on our lives. All right. So I just feel guided to affirm for everyone here today that you are safe and it's okay. I say it's okay as kind of like an alternative version of all is well and you are safe. It's pretty much the same thing. So it's okay. This allows the energy to be a little bit more relaxed so you can allow life to flow through you. It's okay. It's okay, and it's safe for you to be here as you are. And to feel at peace, knowing that all is taken care of and that you're always being guided. All right, so I feel like the energy is starting to come to a completion now. Now, if you like, you can bring your hands in prayer position over your heart or over like the face, like bring your fingertips to your nose. You can bring the head down to the heart. Obviously, I'm just saying bend the head down slightly down in the direction of the heart. Now breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out with the intention of grounding into this moment on the exhale. One more time, in through the nose and out. Grounding back into this moment. Just reorient yourself to the room and to the space that you're in, knowing that you've brought all the blessings, all the healing, all the information with you, and it's embedded in your cells. And it will be easily remembered and expressed through your being. All right, so if your eyes are closed, you can open them and return back. And we ended at 45 minutes and 45 seconds. That's interesting. So I hope that was helpful for you all. So I'm just going to go through the chat box. If you had any experiences during this transmission and you want to share, please do. I like to hear what people experience during these sessions. It's really interesting to just hear what people go through since everyone's experiences can be different. Okay, let's see. Shayna. Oh man, we have to discuss what we can do to, I mean, going to sleep is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can show that there is something going on anytime you're bringing in these energies and they kind of knock you out. You go to sleep. All right, I'm just reading a comment here. Oh boy. Well, short bus, that's a difficult concept. I understand the intention of the question that you're asking. And my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you as someone who is having challenges as a physically disabled person. I can't I can't imagine that level of difficulty, of stuff that you have to go through. And I understand the desire to want to get a clear answer as to why certain things have, I guess, come into manifestation in our lives. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't think that there is a short to the point answer for that. Um, I don't think it's fair to limit the answer to, oh, it's just learning or it's just karma. I don't think it's really that clear cut of an answer, and I don't think it's fair to do that either. And the truth of the matter is that we may never truly know or understand why certain things happen or why we're brought into a certain situation in our lives. We can assume, we can make conclusions based on what we know and what we think or what we think we know, but we may not be able to fully understand that. And I honestly feel hesitant to give you, well, yeah, it's karma, or yeah, it's you're here to learn. Um, what I want to say, what I feel like I want to, I guess, touch upon, just kind of feeling into your energy, is that there does feel to be a little bit of stress in your energy related to this, trying to figure this out and trying to get an answer as to why this has happened to you. And I want to be careful with what I say because I know this is a sensitive topic, not just for you, but for other people that may be going through the same thing. Um, I feel like I want to tell you to be as present as possible with your experience. And with any emotion that you may be experiencing related to your life, the experiences that you're having, to be as present as possible with that, as opposed to trying to figure it out or trying to figure out why it's happening. You can try this if you haven't already, try allowing yourself to be present in the experience of what's happening, because I feel that sometimes just trying to find a clear-cut answer is like I said, we may never know for sure. And even if we do come to a certain conclusion, that doesn't necessarily mean it's an objective truth. It's just a conclusion that we've made, um, based on the resources that we have. But we may never be able to really have a clear cut answer as to why it's happening. And I know that that's, it's not very direct, but I do feel that that's a really sensitive thing to talk about, and it can be hard to really have a clear understanding. Now, this is a sensitive issue, and you're asking me this publicly. You can also reach out to me privately so we can talk about it more so one-on-one. I'm happy to do that with you. So if you want to reach out to me, you absolutely can. And maybe we could talk about it more there because, you know, um, yeah, it's a sensitive topic. Give me a second too, because I might be able to say more of what I'm feeling as I continue to read these comments. Jalen, that's so interesting. You had dreams with your dad, you know? Um, that's really interesting. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the masculine. I actually felt the divine father come in to me this morning. Now I do take note of things that happen to me, obviously, but I didn't think that that energy would come in today through our goddess transmission. Like I said, there's a goddess transmission, but it's whatever everyone needs at the time. So I'm open to it. Let's see, miscellaneous, AB. Yes, okay. I felt light cramps when the energy was in the root. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad it was resonant with you, miscellaneous. I'm really glad. And it's really interesting when energy starts to move into these areas. I find especially, actually, no, I don't want to say that. I feel like every time a chakra starts to expand or we start to receive energy in these centers, they can cramp up and there could be a lot of pain actually. I know that happened to me recently with my sacral area. Oh my goodness, there was like pain and sometimes itching, like weird sensations when these centers start to kind of purge energies out that are not needed. It can be a lot physically. It can be very painful. So, this is why it's so important for us to really take care of our bodies when we're going through uh, these processes, these cycles of spiritual development, because it can really take a toll on our physical body. There's something else I want to share with you, but just want to read this next comment. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome, Short Bus. Yeah, reach out to me if you want on Facebook or Instagram or email. You can definitely do that if you like, and we can talk about it a little bit more if you want. Um, but what I wanted to say about how spiritual upgrades. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble communicating today. Like I said, today was a little bit rough for me at the start. But in the heart area, I have found that the heart can actually have interesting manifestations of healing. So let's say you're having some trouble or you're feeling hesitant to release something, it can actually manifest in the elbows because the arms are an extension of the heart. So sometimes when you're having trouble letting go of something, I've personally noticed this for myself and other people that they start to get weird issues in their elbows. The elbows are actually similar to the knees. They're actually reflections of our flexibility and our ability to change, our ability to move forward. So sometimes you find if you are on the rigid side and you have trouble dealing with change, that your knees will act up. So it can happen in the knees or the elbows. The joints are what help us to be flexible, you know? So the joints can actually have some issues if you're having trouble moving forward or being flexible. Hi, Sufio. I like that name. I like the name Sufio. Um, and you're from Oregon. That's pretty cool. So, please, does anyone else have any questions? I'm going to take these last couple of minutes to just chat with you all if you have any questions or comments. What I wanted to say while I wait for you guys to ask questions or make comments is that this is a totally free event, obviously. I do this from the goodness of my heart, and just I love to be able to share the energy of the goddess and our spirit team with you all. If you feel guided to donate, I do have a link in my description box. It's obviously, I'm not forcing you to, but if you feel called to and you really feel like you want to donate, then you can. That is an option. Just presenting that as an option. Mm, so yeah. But yeah, yeah, it's really interesting how healing can manifest in the body. And it was really interesting to see um let's see. Miscellaneous. Now I'm curious. What do you mean by that? I think I know what you mean. But if if you feel like my feeling is correct, then let me know. Miscellaneous, because you said you feel the need to purge in a different way now. Is that normal? If we if we are on the same wavelength, then yes, that is very normal. I have actually found that that can happen with an increase of vibration. I've actually found that when your vibration goes up, you want to I love it. Hey, listen, I went to nursing school. I really don't have that same kind of like, "Ew, that's too much information," I'm good. I talk about all kinds of things that happen in the body. Um, but yes, that can happen with an increase in vibration, actually. You may find, that you want to go to the bathroom more, that you may also find that you yawn more. There are very interesting things that the body does when the vibration goes up. I feel like when your vibration goes up, your metabolism can also go up. So your body's processes can actually increase in speed. So know that can definitely be effect of when you're increasing your vibration. Shayna, that's really good that you're going through the detoxes, um, spending social media and now food. That's really good. Really good. Sometimes we have to do things like that. I know that sometimes when it comes to social media, honestly, electronics in general, I don't know about you all, but I find this especially during the Aries moon that I actually have to limit my time on social media. I mean, I do it now. I take breaks from social media to like just play with my guinea pigs, to just look out the window and to just be present. Because I actually find that spending too much time on social media is actually very ungrounding and it's actually unhealthy. I feel like we've kind of been convinced that social media and electronics, like even programs on television, that's real life, and it really isn't. It's not real life. Like it's an aspect of life, but what real life is where you are right now. Like what's happening right now. What is happening in the moment. This is what we need to ground into. And spending too much time on social media can actually take you away from that. So actually, after you spend time on social media, pay attention to how you feel afterwards. You may feel spacey, you may feel kind of like you're in a dream state. It does that. So I think it's really important to spend time off of social media so you can reconnect to who you are and your own body, your own feelings. Um, and sometimes I notice too that it's the same thing with like food. I've personally noticed that during points where you're receiving like a transmission or an upgrade, that you may feel guided to eat less. Um, Depending, you may feel guided to eat more because sometimes food can provide the energy needed to purge something out. So that can happen too. You may feel guided to sometimes I want to post a video on this too to go into a little bit more. You may feel guided to eat healthy foods because the healthy foods provide a higher vibration, and help your energy kind of match what's coming in. But you may also be guided to high fat food because that helps to bring up the lower level energies that need to come out, the heavy emotions. High fat foods can actually do that. And then when you're moving through a space of transition, that's where you may feel guided to eat less. So it's really interesting. Because I'm a foodie, so I love to eat, but I have noticed that during certain times of spiritual evolution, that my relationship with food changes. So it's really interesting. Um, let's see. Oh, cool. Yeah, lots of yawning. Very interesting. Yeah, notice that happens a lot. Um, yeah, sometimes like bringing more oxygen into the brain. It's needed during these transmissions. Hi, Corey. Oh, so nice to have you here. Were you able? When did you tune in? Did you tune in like halfway, or? I'm so happy to see you. I honestly, so many happy surprises. So many happy surprises with the people here. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, definitely in the beginning. That's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to tune in for this. Oh, thank you so much. Wow, wow, miscellaneous. Hats off to you. I don't know if I've never been able to do that. Not yet. Um, but I think there were times in the past where I just wasn't hungry, but this was a few years ago. There were times where I wasn't hungry, but I forced myself to eat. I don't know if any of you have ever had that, because it can be weird to feel like you don't want to eat, especially if you're the type that eats in intervals, like where you have breakfast and then you wait, let's say 4 or 5 hours, and then you have your next meal, and then you wait another 4 hours, and then you have dinner. It can be weird to not eat because sometimes you can just eat out of habit. Sometimes you're not even necessarily hungry. Sometimes you just want to eat out of habit because you're used to eating at a certain time. So sometimes we have to break out of that. I know that's something I had to do. I had to break out of the eating habit and just really pay attention. Like, do I really want to eat, or am I just eating because I'm used to eating? You know, interesting. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're saying, miscellaneous. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, as long as it's what your body's asking for. Sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes that's what we need. Eating normal one day and then eating only one meal the next day. Oh, yeah, I really love food. Mm, I'm glad you relate. I'm glad you relate. Oh, hi, single mom officials watching from Saudi Arabia. That's so cool. Any of you guys that know me know that I've been into that culture for a long time. Oh, Shayna, I know that honestly, sugar purges are some of the hardest things. I've talked about this before on my channel that at first I had to decrease my sugar. Now I pretty much can't really have much of it at all. So I can still have natural sugar. And this is something that some of you may find also as you continue to progress on your journey, is that you may find that you become more sensitive to it because sugar is actually very numbing energetically. It's actually very numbing. So sometimes we eat a lot of sugar to help us deal with our lives. Like, seriously, sometimes we eat a lot of sugar because we can't deal with the emotional stuff that comes up. Sugar helps to numb it. So, but you do get to a point on your spiritual journey where life will pretty much force you to stop numbing, and you have to get really real with yourself, and you have to start feeling your feelings and being very genuine, so it can. And when I had to stop eating refined sugar, it was really hard. It was tough. Like, I can still have agave and maple syrup. That's good for me. Like, that's fine. Still in limited amounts, but I could have it. But no more white sugar, no more brown sugar, even coconut sugar. Coconut sugar for me is basically like table sugar. I can't really eat it. Oh, miscellaneous. Oh my god. You're no dairy? I can't do that yet. I'm lactose intolerant too. Like, I don't eat dairy every day, but I still eat pizza. I eat it in moderation. So I'll have pizza and then I probably won't have pizza again for another month. So I still do eat it, but oh, that's one of the hardest things is no dairy. You know what it is too? A lot of the dairy non-dairy substitutes, I don't like them. I don't, and I've tried, trust me. I have tried so many non-dairy substitutes. I'm just like, I can't do it. It makes me sick. Like the texture, I'm just like, no. Now they did come out with some non-dairy cheese substitutes, like I'm talking about cheese, by the way. The milk I think is fine. The milk is fine. I have no issues. I love oat milk. I love almond milk. I could do that. But the cheese, I can't do. But they have come out with some interesting non-dairy cheese substitutes recently that I want to try. Like they have some pizza places that serve pizza with non-dairy cheese and it looks good, but I haven't tried it yet. So I don't know. I'm suspicious. I'm not there yet. I have to try it first before I can be like, okay, they nailed it. It's hard to replace cheese, honestly. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, non-dairy cheese. Mm-mm. What I do, Shayna, if you feel like, okay, I need cheese today, I take Lactaid. I don't know if that works for you. Lactaid actually works very well for me as like if I have to have well, if I have dairy, I'm making it. It's usually not because like I said, pizza I'll have like once a month. But sometimes I want to make fettuccine alfredo. Sometimes I want to make penne alla vodka. Sometimes I like pasta dishes. I love Italian food. So if I'm in a space where I'm in the mood for that, I take a Lactaid, or depending on the kind of Lactaid, sometimes it's one pill, sometimes it's three. I take a Lactaid and it helps a lot. Um, oh, really? Wow. Okay. So what I want to say about that you've actually made a good point there. So I didn't know the Lactaid has sugar in it, but when it comes to fruit, that may be, I'm saying may, but I'm just speaking from my experience. Certain periods of your spiritual growth, you're going to be really sensitive to things, like really sensitive. It doesn't mean it's permanent though, because I remember there was a time in my spiritual growth where I was sensitive to fruit too. I couldn't, like, if I had fruit, I had to make sure that I had protein with it. So if I had, let's say, strawberries, I'd have to have peanut butter with it. Or shoot, what else? I can't remember. Like if let's say I wanted to have like a berry salad, like with strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. I couldn't eat that by itself. It had to have like peanut butter or some sort of like nut butter with it because it was almost too much. It was like, and that's technically it's a natural sugar, but depending on the kind of natural sugar, it can cause the blood sugar to like spike. So sometimes, like if you do feel like you want fruit, just have some sort of protein with it. That helps with the blood sugar so that it let's see. Oh, okay, give me one second. I love this. I love this interactive space. I love it. Yeah, so if you have some peanut butter, almond butter, or something, it helps with your blood sugar so that it doesn't spike so quickly. So you might want to try that. Peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, just some sort of protein to help balance things out. But like I said, that might just be temporary. What I'm seeing for you, Shayna, is that you're extra sensitive right now. Like you're really sensitive. So you have to pay attention to everything that goes into your body right now. um, Mackenzie, you're welcome. Okay, so when it comes to water, I'll be honest with you, most of the time I drink from the tap. I don't like it. But when I do drink water, my favorite water, I would have to say, is the essential water, which is like an alkaline water. Um, Now, I have been suspicious of Essentia before, just because when I was living with my dad, he had a Kangen machine, very expensive machine, but he had a Kangen machine where he always had access to like real alkaline water. And I remember him always telling me that water that's really alkaline, you can't have it in like a container for too long because it'll actually go back to being um, neutral, neutral water. Um, so I was like suspicious, but but what made me be less suspicious of Essentia water was when I saw that people were testing the pH of the water even after it stayed in the container and it was still alkaline. So I don't know if they have a different process for making their water alkaline so that it stays that way. Maybe that's why. But based on that, I think it's a good water. Um, what I also recommend when it comes to your water is try to bless your water before you drink it. Whether you're Reiki attuned or not, it doesn't really matter. Just bless your water, say a prayer over it. That helps a lot. Um, Being on the topic of water, I personally try to drink 3 liters a day. Like, that's a lot of water. But you use a lot of water. You use a lot of water when you're going through all of this stuff. So make sure you're drinking enough water too. Like, you might need a lot. Some people use their urine to determine how much water they're drinking. I use my lips. I use that and my lips too. So if my lips are feeling a bit dry, I I'm like, okay, I need more water. Um, okay, so Jalen, let's see, you're addicted to cigarettes, which was that's understandable. That's understandable. Honestly, we all have something. Everyone has their thing, you know? Everyone has their thing that they have gone to deal with the difficulties of life. You know what I'm saying? Um, for some people, it's cigarettes. For some people, it's recreational drugs. For some people, it's like psychedelic things. Like I think anything can really be like an addiction. Like you can use something as an escape. You can use anything as an escape. It doesn't necessarily have to be something like cigarettes. I think you can. For me, it was food. Food was my escape. But life forced me to kind of deal with it without the comfort of food. I had to learn how to deal with it. But Jalen, I'm feeling something for you specifically. Jalen, I feel like I want to encourage you, take your time with the process of quitting, but understand where the fear is coming from. Because the cigarettes have offered you a lot of support. It has served you for a while. And sometimes when we don't have that support anymore, we feel scared that if we don't have that support, we're not going to make it, that we're not going to be able to deal with life. But I feel like that's what I want to tell you. Just know that that's part of where the fear is coming from. And then from there, you can kind of elaborate on it in your own contemplative space. But just know, like, I don't know if you know that, maybe you know that already, but I feel like if you do know that, I want to remind you of that that's where the fear is coming from. Um, yeah, it's been a shoulder for you for a long time, but it's okay. I understand. It can be hard. You're basically moving from one world to the next, transitioning out of, that addiction. And you're allowing yourself to be more vulnerable. And that's hard. That's scary. But I do feel you're going to overcome it though. I have faith that you're going to overcome it. So just, you have that support from me. Let's see. Shayna, you had a banana, which is too high. Yeah, bananas can be high in sugar. Oh boy. Wow. Blueberries. Yeah. Kuan has been around a lot. Oh god, she's wonderful. She's just a lovely, lovely goddess. So sweet. She's kind of hip too. She can really help us with releasing our karma so we can expand into the next level of our journey. Miscellaneous, where are you from? Since you said you don't have the safest water where you are, I'm actually curious where you're from. And yes, detoxing makes you very thirsty. Oh, interesting. Shayna, you use your tongue to determine how hydrated or dehydrated you are. I'm gonna keep that in mind. Mackenzie, okay, so you like essential water too. Oh, okay, yeah. I think yeah, it's good to explore. It's good to explore with different kinds of water. Um no, please everyone, I love questions. Please feel free to ask. I love the questions. I love it. Okay. Um, well, okay. So what I do, if I want to bless my water, sometimes Reiki for me is the simplest way. Now, generally, when I was attuned to Reiki, the symbols were not necessarily super public. Like, I think some books had the symbols in it. But now it's pretty much you can get a Reiki attunement on YouTube, honey. When I was attuned to Reiki, that wasn't the case. There were no attunements on YouTube. So, um I don't know if I would encourage that, but I mean, you could try it. Once you are attuned to the symbols, then you just send the symbols to the water. If you're not attuned to Reiki, you basically set the intention. Let's say if I want to bless my water, I call upon the Divine Father, Mother God, source of all creation, and I set the intention to bless this water with the energy of love, with the energy of, I don't know, let's say good health, and I set the intention that when I bless this water, that it will nourish my body, mind, and spirit. And it'll help to whatever you want, increase your vibration, help make you more in alignment. So, use your creativity for that. But that's basically how you would bless your water. Yeah, Jalen, I have faith in you. I think you'll move past it. Jalen, what I want to encourage you to explore as well is how that addiction was a manifestation of, if you don't mind me saying this, if you ask me questions, I'm going to answer them. um, how that manifested as a reflection of any issues that you had with your parents. I don't know if that makes sense, but I do feel that there are some issues there, and that any method that you've used to cope with life, that is part of the origin. Let me know if that makes sense, Jalen, because I kind of see that for you. I kind of see that. I feel generally for you that oh gosh, okay. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think oh wow, that's really interesting. Wow. So that's really okay. So it's goes through the generations. Very interesting. I do feel that you're clearing out some karma there. If you can overcome this, this stops with you, Jalen, just so you know. I do get the sense, though, that that is part of what you can do for your lineage, is that you can be the one to help put an end to coping with life through substances. I feel that you can do that. So I have faith in you. Your mom might do it, but if you can quit, you might inspire her. You might inspire her. So if you can look into the wound or any of the wounding, or just this idea that when life gets really difficult, this is how you numb it out. Kind of looking more deeply into that, I really think that you can make some really major healing strides. I really do feel that. Miscellaneous. So you're in Atlanta. Okay, so the water is kind of hard. That kind of sucks. That sucks. But it's good that you Reiki your water. At least you have a tool that you can use to help you. Um, and I know certain locations the water's bad. I lived in Jersey City for a while. Oh god, the water was horrible. Horrible. We were only there for like 8 or 9 months. But and we knew, like, with the water and the environment that we were in, we're like, "Nah, we gotta get out of here. I can't do that." Um, so let's see. Mackenzie? Wow, very interesting. I love this. So it's a nice collective healing that is taking place here. Thank you all for sharing your experiences and for being vulnerable. I really appreciate that. I really do. I think it's very helpful for people to have a space where they feel like they can talk about things, they can ask about things, and they can relate to others that are going through something similar. Well, I have faith in all of you that you can all overcome anything that you feel like you're ready, that you've grown out of. Like it's time to move on. And we're entering into a period. This was something that was shared with me when I was tuning in and I was using my fairy cards. Right now, I mainly use fairy cards when I'm going through, or oracle cards generally when I'm going through a hard time. I try not to use them too much because you can become reliant on them. But my fairy cards were telling me to pay attention to the fact that there are uh, earth gateways that are opening because of like the wheel of the year. So when we're moving into the fall season, that is the big opening, a gateway. So the veil slowly starts to become thinner as we move through the fall season. And it's a good time for releasing and letting go. Just as the leaves start to fall off the trees, we also start to let go and to release. Might also be a really good time to rest and recuperate, but it may also be a creative time. So it depends on the person and what they need to do, or you might need to do a little bit of everything. So this might be a really good time for releasing and clearing and decluttering, letting go of all the stuff that you are ready to leave behind. So yeah. Um, well, since we have like a couple of minutes, not really in a rush, but I just wanted to share really quickly. Um, for me personally, letting go has been really hard because the space of trusting, let me just tell you, throughout my time on this journey and just through life, I've been used to getting disappointed. I've been used to disappointment. I've been used to just having things fall apart. And after a while, you start to expect it. You just think, after a while, you know what? Things have always fallen apart for me. So in the future, they're going to continue to fall apart. And this has been a pivotal time of releasing that mindset. And let me tell you, it has been tough to release that mindset of expecting the best, expecting things to work out. That's a vulnerable space to put yourself in. That things are actually going to work out and they're going to be okay and that you're going to be happy. Things are going to be awesome. You don't have to struggle for the rest of your life. That's tough. That's a tough space to be in, to think, to allow yourself to go there. Because if you expect the worst, you're always prepared, right? You're always prepared for things to go wrong. So you're ready. When you allow yourself to experience joy, you put yourself in a very vulnerable space because you can always lose it, right? But I have written blogs about this in the past, about allowing ourselves to experience life without grasping onto it too hard. And when we experience joy, we fully experience it and allow it to be in our lives for as long as it needs to be without holding on to it too tightly. And then, when we get into a space where maybe things aren't so good, maybe we're sad, maybe we're down, we allow ourselves to be there too, but not being in a space of, well, this is all there is, and my life is always going to be like this. So it's a lesson for me, and maybe it'll relate to you as well. It's a lesson for me that I've had to go back and see, okay, what have you learned already on this journey about life? and the fact that there's going to be joyful moments and there's not going to be not so joyful moments, but you have to embrace them all. Because quite frankly, being happy all the time in terms of that elated, strong emotional state is actually exhausting. I know people always talk about negativity as being exhausting, but extreme joy is also exhausting. I'm telling you, you can't be in that high emotional state all the time. It's too much. What I think we're all kind of seeking, perhaps, is a state of contentment. Contentment where we're good, like we feel good. We're not highly emotionally stimulated in any sense, but when those states come, we allow them to be, but then we also let them come back down as they need to. Mhm. Yes, absolutely miscellaneous. It's hard to let go of that struggle mindset. So then this transmission was probably very going to be very helpful for you then, because that's what they were trying to clear out with us is the struggle mindset and trying not to control things. It's hard. Honestly, this morning it was hard for me. I tripped up a little bit. I'll be honest. I tripped up a little bit with I've been trying my best to really trust and let go, but I did trip up this morning. And I'm like, I'm having a hard time trusting right now. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I could trust right now, you know? Because it was like something that I needed. And it was like one of those things where there was a time constraint and I'm like, we're getting a little bit too close to the deadline, you know, for me to trust right now, you know. So I don't know. Next time, next time I'll just have to try my best to just flow with it and allow it to be and, you know, just try not to, like you said, miscellaneous, try not to control things. It could be hard to do that. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. And it was so nice being able to connect in this way. I feel like I wasn't able to do that in the previous ones. So I would love anyone who's watching right now, if it's your first time here, please know that with these Goddess Stream events, that they're intuitively guided. So anytime I do them, like I don't do them once every month. I don't. I do it when the goddess guides me to do it. So that means I may do it now and maybe I won't do it again until the next 6 weeks or maybe 2 months. It really depends. It's whenever it's needed. So this is where I'm good with that kind of flow. I've kind of mastered that in a way where I'm okay with flowing like that. Like I don't need the tight structure. It's tiring for me anyway. But just know, be on the lookout on my channel. If you're subscribed, be on the lookout for these events, okay? Because like I said, I don't have a set structure. So you'll just have to look out and see like, okay, when is the next one going to be? Um so I do these intuitively. And if you enjoyed it, please come back. I love these discussions. Bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your concerns. I love to share my experience. I love to be able to help you. And I love these discussions, being able to just talk about what we're going through in life and the things that we've struggled with. We need this now more than ever. We're going through one of the most difficult, ridiculous, and yet exciting points in our Earth's evolution. We need this space to be able to talk about these things. Okay. So, again, please be on the lookout for the events that I'll be holding in the future. I have a few projects that I'm working on, um, like other opportunities where we can connect and receive transmissions, and I'm really excited about that. If you want, you can subscribe to my newsletter. There's a link for that on my YouTube channel for my website. You can subscribe there. Again, I am going to be going through a transition with my website within the next week, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, and just be on the lookout. If you feel guided to donate, there's a link in the description box below. If not, it's fine. I love this. I love this community. So I really appreciate you all being here. Please come back if you feel guided. I would love to be able to talk with you all again. It was so great. All right. So if you feel like you want to share your experience from the circle, please reach out to me and give me your feedback. Um, just reach out to me personally, let me know how things have been going for you uh, post this transmission. And I will see you all soon. Take care. I'm going to head out, probably go outside, get some fresh air. So I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.